You can make color commentary.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Very nice, nice, nice.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Margot Learns How to Sew. This is episode 2. I haven't edited episode 1 yet, so this might be episode 1. We'll see. I have sewn a couple things up to this point. Now I want to come back to a fabric that I've worked with, but kind of struggled with. I had previously made this dress, and it was my first time sewing with velvet. I thought that I could get around the fact that velvet is kind of slippy and very hard to hem. So for today's project, I am not only going to be using velvet again, but I am going to be making my own pattern, which this is the second time I'll be pattern making, and I learned a lot from the first one. I think what I've learned the most though is that it is important to take my time and actually put together a full mock-up. I'm going to be making this dress here for New Year's Eve that no one is going to see but me and Chris, but that's all right. Social distancing, and I just want to feel pretty. It's been a rough year, and I just want to feel good in what I'm wearing and what I'm making. So it's going to be this slinky little black number here. I think the hardest parts are going to be figuring out this bodice. I don't know if I'm going to have to be doing darts up here. We'll figure that out. And the straps, because straps are very challenging, and I don't know how that's going to turn out if I make those myself, or maybe I will just go buy some ribbon at the store tomorrow. My goal today is to make a full mock-up. I am basically going to measure myself down my bodice. Again, just take my time with it this time and actually, be patient. And I think that is the biggest test for me in learning how to sew, is just really taking my time and being patient. So let's go ahead and get started on putting the mock-up together today. So I basically did exactly as I explained in the last clip. I wanted this dress to contour to my body, so I took measurements going down my torso about an inch each time and then connected the dots. If you're doing this, I suggest not making my mistakes and wear more form-fitting clothing when you're taking your measurements. I ended up having to completely redo the hip curve. Also, maybe having slopers and curve rulers would have probably helped me out here a lot. Once I cut the front and it looked good to me, I repeated the process for the back. I pinned it up for an initial try-on, and hi Chris, and adjusted the hip curve for the first time of many adjustments.
Oh, I was trying to crawl over to peek my head in.
But you weren't being subtle.
You ruined my thing.
Alright, apologies for the low contrast between my top and the mock-up, but basically I have very poorly basted this together. I think it fits pretty well. I'm more or less happy with this shape here. I don't have a lot of movement, but I am going to cut a slit in the actual velvet here. I think the one thing that I need to do is figure out how to true up the length, which I might honestly just do on the velvet, which is probably going to be something I regret. But I'm happy with how the top turned out. I might trim down this back piece here some, which you totally cannot see at all on the camera, but so this comes a little bit more to my actual waistline, so I'll put a mark here and trim that down. But as you can see, obviously I have to figure out my lengths here and true that up. But otherwise, despite not having hip slopers, I think the hips are coming out okay, and that I'm just going to true up this back piece some, and then I will take out these seams and move on to cutting the velvet. Yikes. And this is where I made my first big mistake. This velvet stretches 2 ways, and I cut the back piece to stretch top to bottom instead of side to side. And then, of course, I forgot I was planning to eyeball a couple extra inches to the length and just blindly followed my mock-up. But that's why this series is Margot Learns to Sew, and not Margot is good at sewing. Now stuck with a short dress, I continued using anything heavy I could find on my sewing table as a pattern weight and cut out the front bodice. I pinned and stitched along the edge of the front piece to give that a nice finished edge, And next was to sew the front and back pieces together. Good evening from my car. We are gonna head to the fabric store real quick together, you and me, because after looking at the dress on, despite my best efforts, the 2 bottom pieces did shift and it's gonna be way too short. I do not go to the club like that anymore, even though this is supposed to be a short and sexy dress. Not this short and sexy. So we are going to run to the fabric store really quick, and I think I'm actually going to get some ribbon for the straps because I realized I don't want to make velvet casings. I don't. And so we're not going to do that. We're going to do ribbon straps, and I think I'm going to try and do either some sort of contrasting color or a black so I can also extend the hem with a little fancy ribbon at the bottom. So let's go. Okay, so basically the only things that they had in both a wide and a narrow velvet trim were white. Wasn't necessarily my plan, but we are going completely off books now. I'm going to make it look good. And that is what we're gonna do next. Is I'm going to hand sew these on, and then once I get the length right, I'm going to do the hem with this, and then I'm just gonna have to figure out the sexy leg slit with this. I don't know what I'm doing, but you're gonna come along with me for it. All right, let's go. Here's my best attempt at trying to keep my hand sewing in frame. It took no time at all to get the front on, and too much messing around to get the back right. So the front looks good. I like the front. Without showing too much, what I was afraid was gonna happen did happen. This is too short. This is already very short. Intentionally, this is very short. The back though, something happened. So we are going to do the back over and recut the back and redo that. So that is what we're gonna do next. And I didn't want this to happen, but I want to do this right, and this is not going to look right otherwise, because if this was this much shorter, we would be way too close to the goods. So I did my favorite thing in the world and ripped apart the front and back pieces, recut the back, thought I was somehow going to end up with a significantly longer dress here, and sewed the new back piece onto the dress, annoyed with past Margot because I clearly had not learned to take my time yet. Okay, hello. My head's cut off, but whatever. So I've gone ahead, I've pinned the straps in the back again to resew them. This is still extremely short. I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can add just a little bit of length with the ribbon to do a hem. But something I did want, and that you can see in the original design, is that there's a little sexy slit. So we're gonna add a little sexy slit. Which I wanted to do once I was sure that everything else was where it's supposed to be, including the shoulder straps. So now that I'm all happy with where the shoulders are, I'm going to nerve-wrackingly cut just a little baby slit right here. Alright, a little messing around update. I sewed the straps on, so these are now secure. But after messing around with the hem, I realized I wasn't really going to add any length with the ribbon like I thought I might, because my plan was to basically do, I don't know what you call it, so I will show you, but basically you pin right sides together, right, then you fold it over and then whip stitch on this side so it looks really nice and clean on the front. And then you just have whip stitching on the back, and I realized that it is not worth it to whip stitch the entire hem if I am not going to actually add any length. And while I do think it would look cool, I have between now and January 1st to change my mind on that. So what I'm going to do for now is take a break on this and mull over if I actually want to use that ribbon or save it for something else to do a hem on this. Good morning. So, I have slept on it a couple days, and it is now New Year's Eve, and I have to wear this dress tonight. Have to. But I want to. So, I thought about it. I decided that while the white hem might look cool, the time and effort to do it is just not worth it to me. So I'm going to put a super basic short hem on it, call it a night, and then we will do a little reveal-y. So let's get into this and let's finish this project up. What's up? Next day, New Year's Day, feels no different than the day before, but that's okay. We made it, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the dress just so the actual fashion videos could live in their own existence without, you know, me negging it the whole time, because that is absolutely what I'm about to do here. I did a dumb. I forgot that when you add a hem that you lose length. So this is basically a long t-shirt. It does not cover anything. And you can't really see that in the fashion videos because it's dark and I'm wearing a black dress with black tights. This was a little bit of a fail, but I really like how the bodice came out. I think it makes me look really hot. So honestly, what I think I'm gonna do, I have a lot of velvet left. I will probably take a break from velvet for a while, but once I'm feeling confident again, maybe I'll watch some Bernadette Banner, some who knows who else, whoever else is working with velvet out there, and get some tips and tricks from the YouTube University. I will try again with this. I will not remake this. I will probably end up repurposing this bodice into maybe a longer skirt and doing something else that's fun and sexy with it. And maybe I'll make this dress again for New Year's next year, but with a longer hem. So that is all I wanted to say in closing, and basically absolutely just destroying everything about what I made. Whatever, but I am proud of the time that I took to make this, and I do still think that I look hot in it. It's just really, really short. So that is that. I really do hope though that you found this video somewhat intriguing and maybe a little bit informative. Learn from my mistakes, don't make the same ones, and I will see you in the next video. Please consider supporting this channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will reply back in the comments to anything that you have to say, questions, positive, negative reviews, whatever. So I will see you next time.